There are two kinds of people in this world. The people who fail to do what they know they should, and those who keep doing things they know they shouldn't. Guess what? You're both. Hi, I'm your podcast host and life and business coach, Marcy Barker, aka your loving kick in the pants. In this podcast, I'll teach you the 6 steps of my accountability code framework that will enable you to wake up with clarity and show up with aligned action steps that make follow through easy and peaceful. When you're ready for more, head to marcybarker.com and we'll chat about your next goal. All right, let's dive in. Hello, my beautiful people. Guess what I'm doing right now? I am recording my entire audiobook for Becoming Bossminded. You guys want to know something? Listen to this. That's the book. I got my first proof in the mail and it's so cool. I love it. There are a few things I need to change though. So what's really awesome about this audiobook is with the accountability code, I have my audiobook. You guys know that. It's in the introduction and the middle and the end of my podcast. And I'm excited for you guys to have an audio version of Becoming Boss-Minded too. So I'm really excited to be recording it. And I'm just really excited for you guys to listen to it too. Some of these stories, man, I've made so many mistakes in business, but I've also learned a ton. And one thing that is in my book is how to create a memorable brand. And I've asked people, what is it about me or my brand that's memorable? And one thing that is a common theme is that I'm direct. And I hope that you guys benefit from that, because when it comes to your loving kick in the pants and taking action, I don't think anything good happens from beating around the bush. And I learned this with my clients back in the days of my fitness programs, because every single day people would track their progress. And I learned that some people wanted me to be very strict and very straight up front and very like, why did you eat sugar again when you know it's bad for you? Or why did you not meal prep when you know that that's the key to you staying on track? And then other people just wanted me to be like, it's okay, you're doing a great job. I'm so glad you showed up and you're tracking your progress. And I used to ask people, okay, on a scale of 1, your bestie or your mom, to 5 being Jillian Michaels, I'm just going to yell at you. What do you prefer? And it was always really interesting to see people's responses. And I found that there's a balance. There's definitely a balance, because there are times where I want somebody to do that to me, be very direct and be like, why are you doing that when you know you're not supposed to? And then there are other times where it's nice to just be enveloped in a hug and reassurance that you're doing the best you can, and that is good enough. So as you guys are listening to this podcast, I hope that you have experienced a wide range. I hope that you get what you need in terms of, sometimes I'm just going to reassure you that showing up is all you need to be doing. And the other times it's like, no, guys, what are you doing? Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your energy. Stop ignoring the nudges that you're feeling and just take some action. So anyway, in this book, Becoming Boss-Minded, there are 9 different chapters. And I hope that you are able to pull something that is what you need right now, because there is a wide range of advice in this book. I share a lot of different stories that I've only shared with my clients. You know, when it comes to being strategic and copywriting and planning and getting stabbed in the back by somebody you used to work with, or having partnerships go wrong, like all sorts of stuff. Entrepreneurship is just, it can be difficult and it can feel lonely. But when you hear of other people's experiences of how things went really bad or what was happening behind the scenes, and you still see them show up and be successful, I think that that's really powerful. And now that I'm saying that, I remember talking to one of my mentors when my first book was on the verge of being done. And I remember talking to her about how freaking hard it was to just finish my book, to get it done, because I was under so much pressure and stress. And while my book was being done, like, I had just gotten COVID and my parents were getting a divorce, and there was just so messy. It was so messy in the back end. And I did not really want to show up as much as I did, but I was committed to the process and I was committed to the things I said I was going to do. And I think that having that commitment made me show up. And I think that's why I'm so crazy about setting commitment items and being deliberate about what you want is because if you don't decide what you want, it's going to be easy to just stop when things get too hard. And what a big waste it would have been if I never got my book out there. So the same is true for this. Like, I have put recording my audiobook into my schedule, but I'm like, you know what? I didn't actually set aside all of the time it's going to take to record 55 stories. You know, one story took me probably an hour to record, and others, you know, I go straight through and I don't have any edits or anything. So I'm so grateful that you are following along and anticipating this coming out, because it's going to give you a lot of peace and reassurance and also another loving kick in the pants. But for the podcast today, I want to tell you guys about the process or the framework of becoming boss-minded, because it is similar to the accountability code, but at the same time, I feel like the accountability code is so personal. It's such a personal thing. And becoming boss-minded, the framework, it's something that you could sit down with a team and brainstorm and mastermind and get it down even faster. So let me just pull up the part of the book where it has the framework, because I'm excited for people to dive into this book and just experience it. Because you want to know something crazy? The accountability code, it was written and it was published, and I never took a person through the process until after all of that was said and done. And this becoming boss-minded framework, it's like tried and true. I've done it myself and I've done it with teams, but it was never defined. You know, there was never a name to the steps that we were doing. But I'm excited to start doing some events online and in person that follow this format, because I feel like it's the ultimate way to start masterminding with what you want and getting it done. So here are the boss-minded framework steps. And don't feel like you got to get a pen and paper out and write them all down or work through it right now. But I want to get you prepped for this process that can help you make some significant change in your business and the way that you take on your next project, or the way that you follow through with what you've already got on the docket. So the first step is to desire more. Okay, let me read them all and then we'll go through them a little bit more. So 1, desire more. Recognize the pull toward a bigger and better future. Step 2, define the cost. Be honest and get clear about what growth will require. Step 3, find the edge. Step just beyond the comfort zone to grow. Step 4, create your version of success. Define what fulfillment looks like for you. Step 5, take your seat. Own it. No more waiting. Act with confidence. So this framework, let's talk about desiring more, because when you're recognizing the pull toward a bigger and better future, I think this is what gets people to act in the first place. And when it comes to building a business that matters, I think that all great businesses are born this way. They recognize that there's a better way to do things, there's a need to be filled, or there's a desire to create something in your own life, and you need a business or some sort of income to support that. So desiring more, it's something you don't want to take for granted. Like, your ability to pay attention to what you want in life, that is such a powerful thing, because it's going to lead you in the right direction. It's going to lead you to the lessons that you need to learn, and it's going to lead you to a bigger and better future, just like it says.
Hey, my beautiful people. The message of waking up and showing up is yours for the taking. In fact, it's completely free. All you got to do is take this quick action. I've recorded my entire audiobook, and I'd love for you to consume it between episodes. Head to marcybarker.com to get instant access to the accountability code, Wake Up and Show Up.
So next step would be to define the cost. Now, I put in here, be honest and get clear about what growth will require, because in my 10 years in business, I did not do this all the time at the beginning. And one of the stories I share is that, I had a whole team of personal trainers that worked for me, and some of them were like, we want more money. And I was like, yeah, you guys do a lot. And I'm really grateful for the growth of the business. And I was even paying them hourly and on commission, which is so dumb, because nobody does that. It's like, make up your mind and decide how you want to work. But despite having both options to work hourly and make a commission, not to mention the commission was 50%, guys. So it's just crazy. Anyway, but I share in the book that I went through all of my numbers one year, and I was like, yeah, let's give you guys a raise. And I went through the numbers and I was like, no, actually, I paid all of your guys' bills. I'm not even paying myself. Big mistake. So Defining the cost, it's like if somebody would have told me, hey, Marcy, you're going to work quadruple the time as all of your team, and they're going to get paid the 98% of what your business makes. You want to do that? You want to sign up for that? I'd be like, heck no, I don't want to do that. I got little babies to take care of and I want to spend time with them. But you know what? That's what I did. I built my business that way because I didn't define the cost. I didn't know what it was going to take. And so I don't think that there's anything wrong with how I built it because I'm here today. However, if I continued to operate my business that way, I don't even want to think of what would have happened because it's so draining. Imagine starting a business and paying everybody else and never learning how to pay yourself, never learning how to set your boundaries, never learning how to build something that is going to outlast you. Defining the cost is your opportunity to say, I'm either going to be super committed to the good and the bad, or I'm going to look at this and be like, nope, it's just not worth it. Not worth my time, money, and energy. And then you just move on with your life and you get to skip out on all of the things that would have wasted your time. I've wasted my time quite a bit. It's not in the book, but I've had a couple people who I've listened to over the years, and every time I do, I listen to them because I trust them. But then other times I'm like, why do I keep listening to them? Because every time I do what they say, it doesn't pan out in the way that I wanted it to, or it doesn't pan out in the way that they thought it would, or it's not a benefit to me like it is a benefit to them. So defining the cost is something that is so powerful that it'll make a huge difference in the choices that you make and the money that you spend in your business. Step 3, find the edge. Step just beyond the comfort zone to growth. This is probably where hustle and grit come into place. And also, this is how you become a better person. This is how you become a business owner who makes more money than you used to. This is how you become a member of rooms you never thought you could get in, is that you find the end of your comfort zone and you just say, you know what, I'm going to expand just a little bit today. Because finding the edge is that growth mindset. It's the part where you say, I'm going to do better. I want more. I want to be more capable. I'm going to learn this thing. Like finding the edge, it doesn't have to be some super crazy, let me go get on stage in front of thousands of people. Finding your edge could literally be like, hey, I need to learn how to freaking write an email sequence now. Because I've always thought I needed somebody else to do it. But it's like, no, the edge is you sitting down, figuring it out, setting time aside, and getting help for it. But if you never find the edge, it's like you will never grow because you're never going to be willing to expand outside of yourself and what you currently have in your business. So that's an important one. I think it's very important to note that finding the edge is the middle of the process. It's like that is not the beginning and it is not the end. So step 4, create your version of success. Define what fulfillment looks like for you. This one, I'm glad it comes towards the end because when we take action and we start doing things, it might not be until after we take action that we start to really recognize what we're doing, like what we're building, what we're seeing, what is changing. And I think that the ability to define your own success is an important skill that allows you to keep going. It allows you to keep moving forward. So in the book, I talk about how Aubrey and we made an investment, and I shared that on the podcast a couple months ago, and I was scared to share it. I was scared to share it, but now it's in the book and it's a lesson that a lot of people are going to learn from. But Aubrey and I made an investment of $100,000 and we got our passive income, our investment check every single month for maybe like a year, a little over a year, if I'm remembering correctly, until one day we got the news that, hey, your money is gone. Like this fund that you invested in, we invested it in something else and trusted somebody else and they stole your money. And Aubrey and we had to define what successful looked like for us then because our plan was 100% changed out of our control. And that's important. It is so important to create your version of success because life is going to happen at you, to you, with you. And you must have the ability to say, here's what I thought my life was going to be like, but based on the circumstances now, here's what success is. And that's a very hopeful step, because it preps you for the final step, which is taking your seat and being a boss. So step 5, take your seat, own your place, no more waiting, act with confidence. This is so powerful because at the end of the day, you are creating the life that you want. There is so much in your control that if you wait for somebody to tell you what to do, or, hey, this is your spot in this room of all these highly educated, smart, successful people, like, we've been saving this spot for you, even though we don't know you. It's like, forget it. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Your spot is never saved. People don't have baby showers for people who are not pregnant. You got to take your seat. You got to say, this is mine. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to own it. I'm going to work for it. And there's no question about it. So going through these steps, they're going to be a defining path for you to take action in your business in a very smart, strategic, and aligned way. So I'm really excited for this book to come out. I feel good about it, having this book next to me. It's really cool to have gotten it done. And that for me is success. But because I've been through this before and I've put out a book that's gone into the hands of thousands of people, it's like, I know what is coming. And it's exciting. So I want to thank you for following along, and just know that more is coming. I'm going to talk about this more, but release date is May 22nd. So I want you to set your alarms, set your reminders, because release day is the day that I'm going to go for bestseller status. This is a different way that I've launched my book. My first one was a little bit different with a publisher. So we're going to have a book release party and all that great stuff. But if you go to bossminded.com and click on books, you'll see the waitlist. But you're going to want to get on that waitlist because there are perks to buying the book on release day. And I'm just trying to figure out where I put my audiobook in there. So it might just be a bonus for people, but I will definitely keep you posted. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants.
Thank you for listening, friends. If you got value out of this episode, I would love for you to drop a review or share this with a friend. Let's be real. Let's spread the word, because we all know someone who could use your loving kick in the pants.